Over the past 3 years, Superman fans have been eating good between James Gunn's live-action Superman film that I really loved, and then you have a little show called My Adventures with Superman. If you haven't watched the first 2 seasons, I recommend it highly. I got into it late, but I watched it and it gave me the best of both worlds. You love animation? You're going to enjoy it. You love Superman? You're really going to enjoy it. This is a fantastic series so far. So does season 3 carry the torch forward? Or should I say carry the sun forward? Alrighty, y'all. Well, I'm going to give you my spoiler-free thoughts because I have some of those, both positives and yeah, some things that just didn't work for me. Let's get started. What's going on, you guys? James here with another real review, and today I'm talking all about Season 3 of My Adventures with Superman. A huge thank you to the team over at Warner Brothers Animation and Adult Swim for giving me the chance to watch this early for review. Now, this weekend is when it debuts, okay? It begins Saturday, June 13th at midnight Eastern Standard Time, and will be streaming next day on HBO Max. These episodes release weekly, and there are 10 in total, all coming in at around 22 minutes in some seconds. You know, you're talking the credits, which you should watch because the credits in this show are just amazing, both the intro and the end credits. But man, oh man, did I have a time with season 3. Now, before I tell you what this is all about and give you all of my thoughts, if it is your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James, where I love talking about movies, TV, and all the news in between. So go ahead and get subscribed if you haven't already. Join the Real family. Get locked in because, yes, you guys, there's a lot happening not just this week, but for the rest of summer. I'll be watching Disclosure Day this week, the Steven Spielberg film. I've got a lot coming up, like Supergirl even. I'm telling y'all, Superman fans, we're eating really good right now, okay? So there's a ton to talk about as we kick off summer. But this is what we're talking about in particular. My Adventures with Superman Season 3. The show, if you haven't, again, watched Seasons 1 and 2, you're going to need to watch it before you watch Season 3. But man, is it worth it. Season 3, of course, sees the return of Jack Quaid voicing Clark Kent, Alice Lee voicing Lois Lane, Ishmel Sahid voicing Jimmy Olsen, and even Kiana Madeira voicing Kara. And without spoiling anything for Season 3, this is a snippet of what you can expect. Clark Kent has embodied Superman and made peace with his Kryptonian origins, and now he's ready to settle down and start a family. I bet he's finding that Jagged Edge song, you know, meet me at the altar and you know what I mean. But Lois Lane is not so ready, and she's trying to figure out who she is in her own identity. Oh boy. Jimmy Olsen has even evolved from freelance photographer to now becoming a celebrity journalist, but he's still intimidated by the romantic attention of Kara Zor-El, or Supergirl. And hey, Supergirl's also trying to find her place on Earth, so this is a season that has a lot of themes of self-discovery and identity and purpose. So let's get into all of my positives for Season 3 of My Adventures with Superman. And we're going to start here because this show has been consistently great, I would say. And it begins with the voice acting. This is a great cast of talent. I mean, they delivered again in Season 3. My favorite is still Ishmel Sahid as Jimmy Olsen. He's having fun with the role, and I do love the character. And no, that's not because my nickname is Jimmy, but I do think Ishmel Sahid understands how to play within the, I guess, boundaries of being silly, being romantic heartthrob sort of, and then being this like newfound celebrity journalist. I do love what he did with the character. He gets more attention like the first half of the season, I will say. The second half of the season, not so much, but it makes sense for the story. And you can't deny how great Alice Lee as Lois and Jack Quaid as Superman are together. Their chemistry is really darn good this season. They do battle some things individually and collectively because, yes, they're a couple, but they're going through some individual struggles this season that sort of adds some layers to the characters, and I really appreciated that the writers went there. Now, did they take any huge risks? No, not really, but I do love that they gave these characters a lot to work with. And speaking of layers, there's a ton of emotion that's bled through the screen thanks to Kara this season. She gets the most emotional beat, I would say, of Season 3, where she's beginning to understand that her purpose can't just be here and defend Earth. She wants more. She needs more. So she's looking for her place here on Earth. In episode 1, Kara asked the question, "Who am I?" And that ended up being the central theme for her character this season. I also think it was pretty funny at times to see her budding romance with Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen's insecurities also start to blossom in this subplot because Kara likes Jimmy. Jimmy is like, am I worthy? Am I worthy? So there's a lot of that happening this season, and it is fun. I just continue to be really impressed with the writers and how they add so much character development within 22-minute episodes. So no excuse for all these other shows who don't get a lot of runtime and are struggling with making these characters worthwhile, because I've been loving the journey of these characters, and it just sort of extends into season 3. Now, Kara's not alone in trying to figure out who she is, because Clark and Lois, like I mentioned, having individual struggles, also have these obstacles they have to overcome themselves. Lois is not on the same page as Clark, who's thinking of their future together, family, buying land, and so much more. Clark is ready. He's like me. He's like me, where I am just like, gosh, I'm a hopeless romantic at times, right? I'm just sensitive. I'm empathetic. I'm in tune with my feelings. And Lois is like, listen, I love you, but like, brother, chill, you know? So there's a lot of that jostling for position, jockeying for position. That's the word I'm looking for. And they're trying to just get on that same page together. So it's nice to see how that really develops from episode 1 all the way to episode 10. And towards the end of the season, I'm not going to say anything specific, but I will say this. Clark deals with an internal tug of war that was pretty refreshing to see in a Superman property. I'm like, I figure the comics deals with this a great deal. I said deal twice. But in the show, I feel like this is the first time we've actually seen this side of Clark. And of course, I'm not forgetting about the antagonist in season 3, like Lex Luthor. Granted, he's not always on screen, but there are things he does in this season that creates ripple effects for probably the rest of the series. I enjoy that they're playing with. It makes for a very interesting season, and I know you probably have seen the trailers by now, and you've seen Cyborg Superman. I'll just say this about that, because I can't say too much, but by episode 5, that narrative peaks tremendously, and it is pretty great. And that's where I kind of want to go now. There's a really great buildup with the story, and yes, it does peak by the middle of this season. Episode 5 is among the best episodes of this series, if not the best episode of this series. It feels like you're watching an hour-long film in the best way possible in the confines of a 22-minute episode. I could have actually watched more of that episode, and I wonder if there were more things they wanted to add in, but they couldn't. The thing is, episode 5 does a great job at being the crescendo for this season. Now, I'll talk about this in the negatives, but what do you do after that, right? But episode 5 really does display what this season really has a lot of, which is action, but nearly perfect story structure. And if you're a fan, like a hardcore fan, you're going to notice some DC Easter eggs in this season alone. I can't say anything more because James Gunn's literally watching me record this. I'm kidding. Now, on a technical note, I think the animation is, again, beautiful. It's gorgeous. All the action is very easy to track. And I will say this, the score in this show has always been great, right? But in season 3, composer Daniel Futcher does an awesome job at bringing us sometimes a very dark score to match some of the very heavy themes on screen. But then you have the fun, action-packed moments where the music matches that. And it is a shame that we can't find seasons 1 and 2 officially released anywhere. And I really hope that changes with season 3, because the score here is beautiful. I love it so much. And I just wish we had an official release, because I would be playing that so often. And if you're wondering, does season 3 end on a good note? Well, good is subjective, but strong, I can confirm, yes. It ends on a strong note. What I can say, there's nothing that made me think I don't want more of this show. When episode 10, when the season finale hits, I was so sad that there was no more up next button on my screen. I wanted more of this. I thought to myself, man, this is just something I could go back and rewatch again, because I want to stay in this world. And that's the thing about My Adventures with Superman. It does a great job at bringing in old and new fans because of the way that they write, the voice work and a lot of the technical aspects. So again, yes, such a solid finale, and I can't say more than that. But what we are going to do, you guys, is now talk about some of the negatives that I have for season 3. Now, when it comes to the second half of this season, so episodes 6, 7, and even 8 to a degree, I want to say, when we get to that final stretch, there are some episodes that just don't work for me. So the issues that we have with season 3 are shown on the back end. There's a lot of inconsistencies, and it really is found within episodes 6 and 7. That is some of the worst work, I want to say, in this series, especially episode 7, which is, in my opinion, one of the worst, if not the worst episode of this series. My biggest concern was the narrative reaching its height by episode 5 and what could come after. Well, the story structure does begin to sort of get uneven. Episodes 6 and 7 really are more of those side quest type of episodes, and episode 7, X Games, like I talked about, I wish was X'd out of this season. It just felt like something that was unnecessary, and it did derail the momentum that was built up with episodes 1 through 5. And for as good as this season was, I think that the reason why the second half of season 3 didn't feel as consistent is because they were really trying to fit in a lot. You had 2 villain subplots or plots really in this season. So how do you really build up to 2 of those, right? Because you did so well with episodes 1 through 5, but episodes 6 through 10 is where you start to see it get a little bit rockier. And I also noticed that the editing earlier in the season wasn't as strong, some jarring cuts. And I do feel like sometimes getting into episodes, like episodes 6 and 7, did feel like, man, wait, are we in the same season of TV? Did I miss something? So I really wish that maybe it was a little bit more consistent the second half of the season, because that's where I think it hurts this season the most. And it's probably why I don't rate this season at the top. You know what I mean? There are some episodes I will rate at the top, but as an overall season, right? So maybe this is a good time to transition into my final thoughts. As an overall season, My Adventures with Superman is good. It's good to great, to be completely honest with you. There's a lot of fun to be had while still maintaining the identity of what made this show so successful for seasons 1 and 2. It has heart, it has humor, and it has a clear vision. And I do think that even though episodes 6 and 7 were pretty terrible for all intents and purposes, the rest of that final stretch makes up for it, because there are a very, very, very strong series of episodes, 8, 9, and 10, that sort of bring everything home. Because at the end of the season, I just wanted more. And of course, we've had many Superman over the years, but Jack Quaid does a good job at bringing the humanity to the role. And that's the nucleus of this show, right? It begins and ends with Jack Quaid. If he's not good, the show's not good, but he is. So I do think that this is a season where, yes, you should be excited for it, and I would implore you to stick with it even when you get to that rough stretch of episodes 6 and 7, because the payoff is worth your patience. So yes, My Adventures with Superman season 3 gets a strong 8.5 out of 10, okay? I was there at a 9 or a 9.5, I won't lie to you, until that weird second half of the season where certain things just weren't clicking as well, but it's not going to derail the entire season. So this is a strong season for My Adventures with Superman. I can't wait to hear your thoughts about it, because I need to know what you think down below in the comments, because I hope that YouTube, you do your algorithm thing and bring people back to this review each week. Let me know in the comments below what you think of my thoughts. Does it get you more excited? And if you haven't already, go ahead and give this video a like. Subscribe as well if you made it this far, because you might as well join me on this journey to 50K. Alrighty, y'all. Well, again, thanks so much for watching. God bless you guys, and I'll catch you at the next screening. All right, did I do okay, Mr. Gunn? I didn't reveal it? Okay, good. All right, I'm safe.